in tonight with breaking news out of Columbia. Good evening, I'm Collin, Ruane.
And I'm Brittany, Pieper. Another crash in Cole County killed someone this afternoon.
It happened just before 4 o'clock this afternoon near Jefferson City. Authorities say 18-year-old Matthias Bennett died and a 17-year-old passenger was seriously injured. Neither of the teens were wearing a seatbelt. That's according to the crash report. Bennett died at St. Mary's Hospital. An ambulance took the 17-year-old to University Hospital. Developing right now, we are waiting to learn more details about an accident at Grindstone and State Farm Parkway. That's right near the Walmart in South Columbia. It happened about 7:30 tonight. Our reporter saw a motorcycle being loaded onto a tow truck, and you see some video from the scene right now. 2 ambulances were also called to the scene. Once we know more about any injuries or how the crash even happened, we'll be sure to pass that information along. New tonight, the Jefferson City Fire Department had to rescue 2 people this afternoon after they fell from a bluff overlooking the Missouri River. It happened near Boonville Road and Hazelton Drive about 5:30. A rescue boat took the man and woman to a river access where the helicopter airlifted a man. He has serious injuries. The woman has moderate injuries and was also taken to University Hospital. The search for Jefferson City man missing in remote southern Siberia is over.
Local report.
Some mid-Missouri students got an extended weekend, and not for a reason you probably think of. School of the Osage Public Schools closed today after the district says it found more than half of its school buses vandalized. 17 of the district's 33 school buses were found vandalized this morning with deflated tires and smashed in windows and windshields. The damage happened on school property. The superintendent says the community has offered a lot of support and classes will be back in session tomorrow.
Which, by the way, kids, we will have school tomorrow.
Don't forget that. The Miller County Sheriff's Department is investigating the vandalism. The district says that damage could cost thousands of dollars.
There's a push to raise teacher salaries in Missouri. A recent study says teachers here rank 42nd in the country for average salaries. Today, a state education board reviewed a bill that would raise the minimum wage for Missouri teachers by $5,000 from $25,000 to $30,000 a year. One teacher says raising the minimum wage isn't nearly enough. Speaking of Columbia Public Schools, 5 candidates are running for 2 vacancies on the Board of Education. The top 2 vote getters will get those seats. Voters will also decide the next mayor of Columbia. Political advisor Brian Treese and attorney Skip Walter are running for mayor after incumbent Bob McDavid announced last September he would not seek a 3rd term. For a more complete list of Columbia issues and candidates on tomorrow's ballot, go to KOMU.com. Turning our attention to the weather, not too many complaints out there today. It was pretty nice out there.
It was a little breezy, especially in the afternoon, but a lot of sunshine out there today.
Thanks, Laura. And more downtown development news. The demolition of QUINTO'Ns Deli and Bar in Columbia was pushed back to later this week. This comes a week after developers demolished James apartment complex in order to clear the land for a new student housing complex. Right now, the southbound lane of 10th Street is closed from Locust to the alley between Cherry and Locust. Once the QUINTO'Ns demolition happens, Locust Street between 9th and 10th Street will also close in both directions, as well as the sidewalk in front of the building on 9th Street. A group of city leaders is trying to make Columbia safer for walkers, drivers, and bikers. The group gave its final recommendations on pedestrian safety at tonight's city council meeting. It wants the city to adopt a Vision Zero policy, which means it believes every pedestrian fatality or accident can be prevented. One member of the task force says the Vision Zero policy is achievable, but people that frequent Columbia streets disagree. The group did not make any budget recommendations. The city council will make those decisions in the fall. Still ahead, millions of documents show decades of crimes from some of the world's richest. What they're accused of doing next. More than 11.5 million leaked documents from a Panama-based law firm show 40 years worth of hidden money. The cash makes up tax havens for suspected money laundering, arms and drug deals, and tax avoidance. The papers allegedly show some companies and tax havens were connected to people in more than 200 countries and territories. Investigators are looking into a possible oil leak in the Keystone pipeline. Officials say part of that pipeline in southeastern South Dakota has been shut down and will probably be closed for the rest of the week. Crews responded after a landowner reported signs of oil on the surface. The company says there were no immediate signs of harm to the environment. Less than a year after an Amtrak train derailment killed 8 people, there has now been another fatal crash. Now investigators are trying to figure out what happened yesterday morning. 2 Amtrak workers died and dozens more were taken to the hospital after that train collided with a backhoe on the tracks. More than 300 people were on board at the time. The National Transportation Safety Board says it is looking into maintenance records and testing emergency systems.
Jason Hayward sparked quite a bit of emotions with his move from the Cards to the Cubs. See how he's doing in his first game with Chicago coming up next in sports.
Online tomorrow.
Our coverage continues tomorrow morning at 4:30 on KOMU 8 News Today. Plus, there is talk of putting in a roundabout at Fairview and Chapel Hill Road in Columbia. But is that a dangerous idea?
The issue is being discussed tonight at the city council meeting tomorrow morning. Why some neighbors say it is not a good idea. In the good weather on the weekend.
Exactly.
That's our time for now. Thanks for joining us.
Tonight's show's next. Have a great night.